Hi and welcome back to StepByStepGuitarTuition.com. In this lesson I'm going to show you a common method for tuning your guitar. Like everything else, learning to tune your guitar takes time, practice and experience. The problem is if your guitar isn't tuned correctly, then everything you try to play will sound wrong, even if you're playing it right. Electronic guitar tuners have made the process a lot easier, but it's still important to learn to tune your guitar manually, just in case you don't have an electronic tuner handy. Also, there are many different ways that you can tune a guitar. In fact, some guitarists will use different tunings for each piece that they perform. In this lesson though, we'll concentrate on the most common tuning, which is called standard tuning. One of the most commonly used methods to achieve standard tuning is referred to as the fifth fret method. And as with all methods of manual tuning, it relies on you using your ear to tune one note to the same pitch as another reference note. To a beginner with an untrained ear, this can be very difficult to distinguish between a note that's too high or sharp and a note that's too low or flat. So don't be afraid to ask for help from your local guitar shop, a guitar tutor or even a friend or relative that plays the guitar. Over a period of time your ear and sense of pitch will improve and you'll begin to recognise when a note is sharp, i.e. too high in pitch, or flat, too low in pitch. And you'll begin to recognise how a correctly tuned guitar should sound, but I must stress this does take time. So let me explain the fifth fret method of tuning. This guitar that I'm using is tuned correctly, so I'm going to start by showing you which notes you need to compare to achieve standard tuning, and then I'll detune the guitar slightly and attempt to retune it using the fifth fret method. To start, we're going to use the fifth fret on the sixth string as our reference note. So if you hold down that fifth fret on the sixth string, and then if you pluck that string and listen to the pitch of the note. Next I'm going to play the fifth string, which is this one here, open. Now those two notes should be the same pitch. So that's the fifth fret on the bottom E string, on the sixth string, should be the same pitch as the open A string, or the fifth string. So if we listen to those two notes together, now repeat that on the fifth string. So if I hold down the fifth fret on the fifth string, that becomes the reference note, and pluck that note, and then play the fourth string open. And those two notes should be the same pitch. If we listen to them together, and then repeat that process on the fourth string, again at the fifth fret, that's our reference note, and then play the third string open, and those two notes should be the same pitch. Listen to them together. On the third string there's a slight difference. Instead of using the fifth fret for the reference note, we use the fourth fret. So pluck that note at the fourth fret on the third string, and then play the second string open. Those two notes should be the same pitch. Listen to them together. And then lastly, on the fifth string you go back to the fifth fret for your reference note, and then the top string open should be the same pitch. So let's recap from the bottom E string, from the sixth string, fifth fret, that's your reference note. The A string or the fifth string should be the same pitch. And then on the fifth string, fifth fret, should have the same pitch, should be the same pitch as the open D string, the fourth string. And then the same thing on the fourth string, at the fifth fret. The third string open should be the same pitch. On the third string you go back to fret 4, and that should be the same as the second string open. And then on the fifth string, back to the fifth fret, which should be the same as the top string open.
Okay,
Okay, now I'm going to take you through it again, but this time I've deliberately detuned two of the strings. So I'm going to attempt to retune the guitar using the tuning pegs. Just a quick word on the tuning pegs in case you don't already know. These are what you use to tune the strings. Each string has its own tuning peg, as you can see. Turn the peg anti-clockwise to raise the pitch and clockwise to lower the pitch. Okay, now let's try to tune the guitar. So again, using the 5th fret on the bottom string as my reference note, I'm going to pluck that string and listen to the 5th string in reference to it. That's on the same pitch. And then on the 5th string, 5th fret again, and then play the open D string, the 4th string. Compare those two notes. Again, they're the same pitch. Move on to the 4th string, 5th fret. That's the reference note. Listen to that note. And then play the 3rd string. Now that 3rd string doesn't sound quite the same pitch to me. So I need to tune this 3rd string to the pitch of that reference note at the 4th string. So select the tuning peg, which is this one here. Now to me that sounds, the note sounds as though it's too low. So I'm going to tighten the peg and tune up to the correct pitch. Let's check that again. A little bit more. A little bit more. That sounds about right there. Now if we move on to the 3rd string, remember the 3rd string you go back to the 4th fret. That's nearly there, that sounds a little bit sharp, so I'll flatten that string. So that's the reference note at the 4th fret, and the 2nd string compared to that. It's about the same pitch now. And on the 5th string I'm going to go back to the 5th fret, listen to that note, that's the reference note, and then compare the top string to that note. That sounds too high to me. So that top string needs to be loosened off a bit to come down in pitch. It's always best to tune up to the notes, so if you take it a little bit lower, listen to the note again, and then tune up to it, and again. Okay, those two notes sound the same now, so all the strings are in tune. So hopefully now you understand the 5th fret tuning method. There are other methods for tuning the guitar, but I'd advise you to practice that method first before you attempt any others. And remember, if you're a musical beginner, tuning a guitar by ear is easier said than done, and it takes time to develop your sense of pitch. So don't be discouraged if you can't do it at first. You can always use an electric tuner. We'll look at some other tuning methods and altered tunings later in the syllabus.